America leads the world in medicine development. It matters. We get new medicines first, nearly 3 years faster. 5 million Americans go to work because we make medicines here at home. And not relying on other countries keeps us safe. But China is racing to overtake us. Will we let them, or will we choose to stay ahead? When America leads, America cures. Let's tell Washington to keep us in the lead.
Learn how at americacures.com. Paid for by Pharma.
Protein is now at Starbucks, and it's never tasted so good. You can add protein cold foam to your favorite drink or try one of our new protein lattes or matcha. Try it today at Starbucks.
The Oregon Ducks football team is back on the field for spring practices. That means the Ducks Confidential podcast is back in the studio. I am Aaron Fentress of the Oregonian and OregonLive, along with George Wrighster of the Unafraid Show and the CW. George, the last time I talked to you, let's see, so it was finals week for my kids. Then they started sprinkling home, and then they had spring break. And then I reached out to you, and were you in the Bahamas? Is that where you were? Where were you?
Yes, man. Yes, man.
Yeah. He's like, I'm in the Bahamas, Fentress, chilling. I ain't doing no podcast with you.
Listen, brother. Our kids have 2 weeks of spring break.
2 weeks?
2 weeks, bro.
Oh, you dying?
Yeah. So imagine what do you do with your kid for 2 weeks during? I mean, it's not.
See,
it's
and
not,
yours are younger. Like
summer camps open.
Well, what ages do you have? What ages do you have?
26, 20, 15, 14, and 6. So
see, 15,
really,
14, and 6, you kind of got to entertain. 15, 14, and 6. The older ones probably have a bunch of stuff to do, right? Because my kids were coming and going like crazy.
They don't even live. They don't even live under our roof. So they're doing their own thing. One's in college, one works for us. And then the 6-year-old is really the only one that we got to entertain. The 15 and the 14, the 15-year-old, she has volleyball practice all the time and all that stuff. So but we don't like the kids to sit around like a bump on a log, especially during breaks. So we kind of engage them some. So we went on a Disney cruise, and then we went skiing in Mammoth. So yeah.
All right.
And then we had a volleyball tournament. So the 15-year-old who had volleyball, she didn't go everywhere because she was like, I have practice. I need to be at my best. We go to our tournament, blah, blah, blah. So then she made a responsible choice. So she didn't go to Mammoth. And then she had volleyball. So we get back from Mammoth on Wednesday, which was my birthday. We go to the Dodgers. So we drive back from Mammoth, which was like a 5-hour drive.
Right.
At home for about an hour, drive to the Dodgers game, go to the Dodgers game, had a great Dodgers game birthday, even though we lost, but I won the 50-50 raffle. So that was good. And then
did you really? How much was that? Wait, how much was that?
Hey, easy there, Turbo.
Wait, 50-50 at the Dodgers game?
Yes.
You won the 50-50 raffle.
Yes.
Hold on. I'm looking at what the payouts on those usually are. I'm about to make me alone. The opening day jackpot reached 90 grand.
It was not opening day.
Well, let's just yeah. So you wait. How much? Was it over 20? Was it over 20K?
Yes, it was over 20K.
Damn. Yo, man, I'm about to buy a new car. Why don't you hook a brother up?
Dude,
you went to a baseball game and walked away with over 20K.
Yes.
Damn,
it was amazing, bro. I was so happy. And you know what the crazy part about it is that I was feeling so, as I made a post on my birthday, mind you, this is before I even went to the Dodger game. I was still in Mammoth when I made the post. I was like, dude, I am so grateful because I just turned 45. I'm so grateful to be alive, so grateful for my family, so grateful for all the blessings, and
For me being in your life?
Yeah, that too. Because like I think about how many players. So there are 4 guys from my high school basketball team that are dead, right?
Really? Wow.
Yes. One of my best friend, including my best friend from high school, who died in 2015. And then in the NFL, check this out. In the NFL, just from my team alone, guy got drafted with Vince Manawai. He's been dead almost. He's been dead like 8 years. And then 3 other guys from my team as well, who all of the rest of them were younger than me. And then you think about the former players that I played, like Demaryius Thomas and guys that I knew that have passed away. And I just feel so blessed. And I'm like, man, like there are so many times that we get to like looking around, thinking about things we don't have and all of this. And I just feel so grateful, man, like just to be alive and not to have had anything tragic happen, even though that stuff has not worked out exactly how I wanted it in life in a bunch of ways, but that's just life. Yeah. But just the fact that we're here still able to talk to people and engage, and the Ducks are great and everything else, it's just a blessing, man.
Wow.
I'm just feeling.
So you had a event-filled vacation, you had a birthday epiphany, and you won over 20 grand. Let's get back to the 20 grand because no, I'm kidding. So they give you like a check and then like a tax form.
I gotta go pick it. Yeah, I gotta go pick it up.
Man, is there any way you can hide it from? Can you hide it from the IRS? Because they're gonna come take half of it.
Man, you can't hide from the 3 letters, man. You just gotta go see about them. ain't no hiding from them. I don't have enough money to hide from the IRS. I think that's required. I think that is once you get like 100 million or more, like that's when you can start doing the things that
being creative.
Yeah, I don't think that applies to us regular people.
All right. Well, there's someone else who can't hide. Well, they can hide right now, but they're not going to be able to hide in the fall in September. And that's the USC Trojans. Because the USC Trojans are out there just yippity yapping. And I say the Trojans because I'm referring to the Trojans X football account. So this isn't just fanboys or anything like that talking. This is USC's football account taking some shots at Oregon. Which
they're on max right now.
I find it entertaining. I think it adds to the drama. I'm all for it. But I'm still going to make fun of it only because you're doing all this yapping in the offseason over various recruits when we all know that half of these guys that both teams are recruiting are never going to ever do anything for either team. They're going to be in the transfer portal. They're going to recruit it over, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, so recap. So the Trojans got a kid to sign. Who was this? Who was the first one? The DB, right? Lang committed. Danny Lang, 4-star DB. Those grow on trees. Don't the Ducks have like 97 4-star DBs on their roster, right? And half come and go. And then they recruit, proven starters that play DB anyway, so it doesn't matter. But anyway, and they did it. This was kind of cute. They had a patch of grass that was green, and then they had someone spray painting their USC Trojan red or scarlet, whatever it is, to color it. And this is, of course, is a reference to Dan Lanning, his now famous saying that the grass is damn green in Eugene. Okay, that was cute. So then they flipped an offensive lineman, Drew Fielder.
And I'm going to give you some perspective.
Context, okay.
They flipped a legacy USC kid. Both parents went to USC, and one of them was an athlete. Grandparent went to USC. So they flipped a legacy kid who wanted to go there already. Okay.
Okay. And so then USC football posts, I thought this was creative. They post a traffic light showing the green and then moving up to yellow and then red, which of course USC colors.
That was super creative.
I thought it was cute. It was hilarious. However, I responded to some fans, and I responded, I think, to one of these accounts showing that Yeah, but Dan Lanning's 2-0 against the Trojans on the field, including a beatdown, and then last year's game was kind of close. And then I got into it with a few USC fans who were yapping. I'm like, dude, you guys are crowing over recruits. Well, not and wait, now Fielder, these guys haven't even signed yet. That's right, because signing day is until December. So these guys could flip. These guys could flip again. And then I made the point. I'm like, dude, the odds of like the DB kid Lang even playing is 50-50. And the guy thought I was crazy. I'm like, dude, you have, I think it was 3 deep corners in this class. You had 3 corners in your class last year. You already had guys on your team. So the odds of him even ever playing, it's the betting odds are that he's going to transfer. Oh, you're crazy. And then I said the same thing about receiver. I'm like, dude, you guys brought in 6 high school receivers last year.
What's going to happen? And then you're bringing in another 4. They're going to try to bring in like another 4 the next year.
Right.
Next year. Half of them are going to leave. Like, this is, dude.
Like, within a year. And so, and again, his fan was like, you're crazy. But I go, dude, are you guys putting in a 6 wide receiver offense I've never heard of? Because you can't play all these guys. So anyway, but here's the thing. Oregon fans crow all the time about recruits too. So it's not like this is just USC. Oregon has done it too. I've always laughed when Oregon does it too much too, because looking back, most of the recruits that they were slobbering over during the Mario era never saw the field. But it's just funny. Look, the difference is that Oregon's winning on the field. They've won 8 of the last 10 matchups. So win a game, then talk. Now,
Yes. And they lost the last 4. They haven't beat Oregon since like 2016. So...
And that was during the worst season Oregon's had in the last 30 years when they went 4-8.
So USC fans who have been in my mentions extensively because I'm a truth teller about college football and about USC in particular as well. So Aaron, they get on there. Oh my God, we're stuffing Dan Lanning in a locker again in recruiting. We stuffed him in a locker last year. I'm like, time out. So, stuffed in a locker? What are we talking about? If you go on 247,
right,
in 2026, USC finished with the number 1 class with 35 commits.
Insane.
With 302 points, okay? Oregon finished, guess where?
They were third,
where
right?
That locker stuffing was on 247.
Third, right?
Number 2.
In the composite, they're third. And 247, they're 2, right? Composite, they're third. Yeah. Same thing, whatever. Yeah.
And okay, I'll go to the composite. So they were number 3. So USC in the composite finished with 310 points, and stuffed in a locker Oregon finished number 3 with 303 points. Oh God, with only 24 commits. That's a big time locker stuffing.
And how many 5 stars for each program?
USC finished with 3. Oregon finished with 4.
Okay, so one more 5.
Yeah. And then in 2026, also, and if you want to go on the on-3 rivals rankings, USC finished 1, Oregon finished 4, and finished 1.1 points behind them. So here's the thing. You, as a fan, you should be excited about recruiting, because recruiting is the lifeblood of your program. If you cannot get talent in the door, cannot win high-level football games. Now, USC people are taking this way too far, because and the thing that Aaron just talked about that I have mentioned, I'm like, you signed 35 commits. How many of them do you think will be on your roster in 2 years? Because number 1, you're recruiting other players who you're telling you can get on the field right now as well. So you have seniors, you have juniors, you have sophomores already on your team. Oh, excuse me, and redshirt freshmen already on your team. So now you think that this 2026 class is going to wait to get on the field? Now, granted, some of them will play immediately, but like me and Aaron have told you guys, and he has said it like that young teams don't win. And I'm like, and I've always said, if you have too many freshmen as your best players on your team sucks. So who's going to be playing for them? And then they're going to get players in the transfer portal. these people are like listening to some people in politics who can't just let common sense get in the way of their argument. They're like, no, these kids, they're committed to USC. They're committed to bringing them back. Yeah, until they don't play or until they're asked to take a cut in the NIL money.
Wasn't there a mom that said that? Was there some mom that went out and said, "Oh, these kids are so committed to blah blah blah"?
And I just talked to her again recently. I was like,
"Oh, you know her? Okay."
Yes, clock's ticking, lady. I said half of these 2026 classes so close, and they're going to stick this thing out. Half of them will be gone. Aaron, there are only 22 starters on offense and defense. 22
facts.
There are 35 commits
in one class.
Just even if only freshmen played, you don't have enough spots.
Right.
And then you're going to bring in another class of players, and then the older players. It doesn't make any sense. But I will say this, Aaron, for USC's trolling of Oregon, it is smart. It is clever. This is exactly what USC should be doing. Mm-hmm. Because they have to generate some level of buzz, right? And their fans are so hopeful. But there is nothing worse in life, Aaron, than to get your hopes up and then to have your hopes dashed. Like so there's nothing more painful than that. Because when you look at this USC schedule for 2026, Aaron, they already got Notre Dame off of there to like make it a little bit easier because they play San Jose State, Fresno State, and Louisiana to start the season. They're going to win all three of those games. Then they go at Rutgers and then have to come back the next weekend. So they travel far away. Then they come back home the next weekend. They play Oregon. Then they play Washington. Washington is going to be a very good football team next season as long as the Damon Williams thing does not hurt their like continuity as a team. That is going to be a very good football team. I know that in the first 2 years under Fish that they were dog water on the road, but they should be better this year because they're a little bit older. Then they got to go at Penn State. So 3 weeks in a row. Well, 4 weeks in a row. East Coast game, Oregon, Washington, and then at Penn State. Penn State, I'm telling people, this will probably be a 10-win football team this year. And it's at Penn State. And USC is notoriously, under Lincoln Riley, atrocious on the road all 4 years. So let's see how that goes. Then you got to go at Camp Randall, and Wisconsin is going to be better as well. And then you got Ohio State walking through the door. Then you got to go to Bloomington to go play Indiana. Then you got to play Maryland, and UCLA is going to be significantly improved. On the Aaron Fentress scale of losable games, Oregon, Washington, Penn State, Wisconsin, Ohio State, and Indiana, and I won't even count UCLA. There's 6 possible losable games.
And Lincoln Riley has never demonstrated that he can overcome something like that.
Correct.
Right.
That's 4 losses staring you in the face. 3 if you're lucky. So, Aaron, out of Oregon, Washington, Penn State, Ohio State, and Indiana, those 5 games, how many games do you think that they win?
I'd say at least 2. I think they got a lot of guys coming back from last year. So I'm going to say at least 2. That means you lose 3. Okay.
Is there any way that you would believe that they would win all 5 of those games?
Oh, no way in hell. I'm not going to buy into them until I see a defense.
Yeah.
Like I need to see a defense that.
And all the clips that they've been putting on social media, they're like, Deshaun Rideau is fast. Who's a friend of my kid. I hope he does well. But you saw him on a run, just take a curve to the right and just outrun the whole defense. There's a difference between a big play. Like all their social media highlights are the offense like terrorizing the defense. I'm like, y'all don't realize what picture that this actually like paints to, and granted, it's social media. You do have to take it with a grain of salt. But when all you're posting is your defense getting torched, what are we supposed to surmise from this?
Exactly.
They're
100%.
getting mossed over two dudes. Like
same old USC. Old, we know you can put up points. We've seen you do it. We saw Caleb Williams. Right? Yeah. We saw you put up points, but can you stop anybody? So I will say this. So their last 3 recruiting rankings, I think, were 13, 17, and 8, dating back the previous 3 years. So they've clearly made some inroads there. But a lot of these guys are not going to matter until a couple of years for those who stick around. But if you do load up with a bunch of 4 stars and some 5 stars, you're creating competition. So you hope the cream rises to the top. What that means, though, is that puts added pressure on Lincoln Riley, because now it's going to be in the next couple of years. This year, no one should say you failed with this recruiting class, because you shouldn't expect freshmen to come in and change the program. But down the line, if it's like, okay, you had a number 1 class and then a top 5 class, all that talent coming in, you weren't able to develop and have these guys compete to have the cream rise to the top and then contend for a Big Ten title. And you can't make an excuse about not having the talent, because your own program is bragging about how much talent you're bringing in. So the pressure is really on this guy starting, I'd say, in 2028, if we're going to base it on this class, where he better win or he's in trouble.
Okay.
Just based on the current recruiting. I'm not saying there's not pressure next year. I'm just saying in terms of the recruiting, it's not really going to matter until what we see in 28, 29. If you fail then it just proves that this was all nonsense.
Okay. So, and then you got the USC fans. Oh my God. Dan Lanning's a terrible coach. Oh my God. You guys got blown out in the playoffs 2 years in a row. He stinks. You gotta win 13 games to get blown out in the playoffs, right?
You have to get to the playoffs to get blown out in the playoffs.
Yes,
right.
You got to make the playoffs to get blown out in the playoffs. So
if you're not making the playoffs, you can't talk.
Dude, they have nobody on their roster that's even been to the college football. They have nobody that even has a college football playoff T-shirt. Like, they don't even have anybody who has a rag,
Wait, hold on. I got a prop. They don't have a bowl gift mascot. I got something from a playoff game. Aaron Fentress has something from a playoff game. The Orange Bowl.
They don't even have a bowl gift playoff. They don't even know how to travel for a bowl game. I mean, for a bowl game out of
state. For a playoff game. Right.
Yeah, for a playoff. They don't even know how to travel. They don't even know the people to talk to yet. Like, they're going to be. And here's the thing, Aaron, because you are a exercise patience with coaches. Now, mind you, I'm a patience with coaches guy too. But you take my level of patience to like monk level.
Correct.
If you were a USC fan, mind you, this is USC. They have blamed everything. Oh my God, we didn't have the resources, our collective together. We didn't have this, we didn't have that. But we're still USC. Now, we've seen with Kurt Signetti, we've seen it with Bob Chesney over at JMU. We've seen it at a lot of places where coaches that didn't have the most elite rosters have found a way to win games, right? So can you explain to me how, if you were a USC fan, Aaron, if it were, actually, you're a Miami guy. Let's just take USC out of it. Let's put the U in there. If Mario Cristobal had the same record that Lincoln Riley has had, his best year was his first year at there. He's going into year 5. You're putting in all these resources, building new facilities, all of this stuff. You're going into year 5. You have not even sniffed the playoffs. And year 1 was your best year. How would you be feeling about Mario Cristobal right now and your patience?
Okay. I hear what you're saying, but I view Miami differently than USC because Miami went through 25 years of like, we're not going to do Ponzi schemes anymore. We're not going to cheat anymore. And so then they struggled.
Yeah.
So whereas USC has been great within the last 20 years. So you expect them to not have as many excuses. So I would give Mario, I gave Mario the benefit of the doubt going in. I didn't expect them to win a national title within the first 3 or 4 years. They made it to the national title again this year. So, but still, I hear what you're saying. But with Lincoln Riley, so I think they've underachieved. I think
11-3 the first year.
Right.
And they finished ranked 12th. Second year in 2023. AP preseason 6, AP high 5, finish unranked.
Right.
2024. Preseason 23, AP high 11, finish unranked. 2025, not ranked in the preseason, AP high 16, final 20, and finished 9-4. So you got 11-3, 8-5, 7-6, 9-4. If he goes 8-4 in the regular season or 7-5, how would you feel about that if you were a USC donor, booster, or decision maker?
Well, you're returning your quarterback. So whenever you return a good quarterback, you should be better unless you failed around the quarterback. So yes, I would be extremely disappointed. But what he has now is he has these classes to say, hey, just wait. Right. So I think he's bought himself some time for, extreme backlash.
I mean, how much time if they underachieve? Give him?
Well, you have to give him, to me, you have to give him through this 2026 class, their development. Because you have reached a different height in recruiting that you hadn't before with him.
Yeah, but then you're again starting over with.
But you're saying he has a different talent base to work with. So if he's been able to get that talent base, now let's see if he can do what if the excuse before wasn't talent. My thing with him before was that how can a defense
8-4? They're going to lose
7-5, no good. But,
portal.
Well, I know 7-5, no. Yeah, 8-4, I can live with that. But my big thing with them is the defense. Like it's one thing to have an average defense to go along with your great offense. To have a piss poor defense when you have the resources they have tells me that they not only were not using what resources they had, but they were failing as scouts and in terms of developing talent. You mentioned Cignetti. The biggest thing he did was show that 5-year seniors with experience, 4-year seniors with experience are better football players today than the 4- or 5-star hotshot who's a freshman or sophomore. Case in point, the quarterback position. Dante Moore is more talented than Fernando Mendoza, but Fernando Mendoza in his 4th year with 20 starts behind his back versus Dante, who sat out 1 year to back up, had a bad freshman season, came in with 6 or 7 starts, was the more polished quarterback. So he was better than Dante. But Dante next year should take a leap. What Cignetti did was he replicated that across the entire roster. USC failed to even go out and do that in the few years to fill in holes. Why didn't they go out and find, someone who maybe was playing at, a 1AA school or FCS school and say, that guy is a grown ass man. He can play D tackle and fill a gap. That's my problem with USC.
Yep.
You agree?
And
you agree.
So for me, if I were a USC booster, I would be very, very torn, right? I would feel very confused and torn, right? Because if you go 8-4 again in the regular season, your coach just said that the window is finally open after they lost their bowl game after the last game of the season. He goes, our window is finally open. And so if you follow that up with taking Notre Dame off the schedule to make your schedule easier, and then you still finish 8-4 and miss the college football playoff, because USC's expectation is not to make the college football playoff once every 5 years. Their expectations are regular basis, like over the course of a 15-year period, every other year, probably. I think that probably feels reasonable for their expectations. So going into year 5 and then trying to exercise patience, I think that their donors are that pockets could dry up a little bit, because they're going to be like, what are we putting money into? Like you're not winning these. Like all of these teams can't be more talented than you. So because you return a lot of production, so at that point in time, you got to start asking about the leadership and how much longer are we willing to invest in this? But it's still going to take them like $50 million to fire him. So I do think that no matter what happens, he'll be back next season, no matter what happens.
Yeah. And like I said, I do think they need to let him see this recruiting cycle through since he has made inroads there. So we'll see. All right, let's move on to the Ducks. Now USC fans are going to accuse us of having USC derangement syndrome. So let's talk about Oregon. I just love it, though, because it's something in the offseason to talk about, and it's going to make that September 26th game even more intense. Oh, by the way, Dan Land.
One more note on that. That's why I was saying that USC needs to be doing this because they know that they're pushing all their chips to the middle. And just so you know, mind you, all schools are writing checks to close recruits, okay? But some specific checks that USC has written to like Bowman, who probably would have rather been at Georgia, but they made him an offer he could not refuse. I would not tell my kid to refuse that. And there have been some other bags that they've handed out that they're paying incoming freshmen more than they're paying starters, which causes other issues.
Yeah, exactly.
They're going to be a $40 million roster this year. Aaron, a $40 million roster that don't make the playoffs. Okay. But that's why they need to be talking it because
a lot of that's the freshmen though. You can't expect the freshmen to get you there.
Yeah, but if it doesn't matter, it's still a very expensive roster. And if you are, and they're literally pushing all the chips to the middle. And so they need to be talking trash. This is what they're supposed to be doing. But if they come out and get physically dominated on September 26th, it is going to be like none of this ever happened. And I promise you, Duck fans who are wanting Dan Lanning to respond, they're wanting Oregon to respond to this sort of thing, just so you know, that Ducks versus them, ooh. It will be must-see TV. It could be the GOAT. It'll be better than the Texas Tech one down in Lubbock with the song. It'll be better than the Penn State one. It'll be better than any one that you. Yes, it would. Colorado will look like child's play. So just so you know, they are sitting here doing this.
Well, Lanning was asked about it last week by Ryan Clark, who works at the Oregonian as well. And Dan just said, I'm more focused on what we're doing in the field and, what happens in the fall or something like that. So
no,
he handled it correctly.
Winning games in
the fall. Yeah. I think he said in the fall, right? I can't remember. Yeah. But anyway, he handled it well. I mean, he's got the upper hand, dude. It's like, why would you even let that affect you? Like,
exactly.
You've never lost to USC. It was, it was Washington talking.
Yeah, if that were Washington, you might want to respond.
I don't think he would, but there would be at least something to be like, well, because Washington's got the brand right now. All right. Yeah. All right, let's move on to spring football. It's underway again after they took 2 weeks off. Tony Tuioti, the defensive line coach, spoke the other day. He's got all 4 returns back, so we asked him about that. And he raved about some backups as well, including the new transfers, Jerome Simmons and Deontay Robinson, who came in to help bolster the interior, big bodies, he called them. But also talked a lot about some of the younger guys like Rushing and Nasir Wyatt and Matt Johnson, who have been developing as well. He said the goal is to close the gap between those youngsters and the vets. If you can do that, you got depth not only for this season, but you got starters for next season because all 4 of the starters are going to go pro in next year's draft. So just real quick, so how do you feel from your inside sources at Oregon about the defensive line depth, especially those youngsters who were high end recruits, and now it's time for them to step up as backups?
Yes, the guys I'm looking at. Nasir Wyatt, Elijah Rushing, who they said is growing into his body
285, now. What 280 is up to now.
Oh.
Came in at 250.
Love to see it.
That's what DeForest Buckner did. Remember DeForest Buckner? Buckner came in at like 245, and next thing we knew, it was like, who the hell's that guy? That's DeForest Buckner. No, that's someone who ate DeForest Buckner because he put on like 60 pounds in like a year and a half. That's what it sounds like Rushing's doing anyway. So he might be just like DeForest.
Yes. This quick story. That's what happened to Travis Johnson, right? Who was a defensive tackle for Florida State. He's from out here in Cali at Notre Dame High School. So he goes to Florida State. He's a year older than me. I go to Oregon the next year. We lose track because it's 1999. We don't have no damn cell phones. Okay. Yeah. And then I go to the NFL. Rookie year, we're playing against the Texans. I look on the sheet, it says Travis Johnson. And I'm like, Travis Johnson from Florida State. I was like, it says he's 320. Travis Johnson played D end and was like muscles and ripped up when we were in high school. It was like 230, like 240, like 6'4", like there's no way. I end up getting in touch with him. We go out to go eat, right? When we flew in. I was like, damn, bro, I didn't even recognize it was you. I was like, you ate Travis. He was like, I did, bro. I got to Florida State. I was eating, bro. But I was a first round pick, so it worked out.
Hey, there you go. All right, so you like this group. You like what they have bubbling under the surface?
Yeah. Yes, and then an under the radar guy, Aiden Breland.
Yeah, Tuioti mentioned him as well.
Yeah,
so he's been looking really good.
He's a dude who, when it's all together, potential first round pick. He is incredible. But he was a kid who was a man amongst boys his whole life, and now he's got to be a man amongst men all day. And so it's the mental part of it for him. And once he gets that going, oh man, this like the next group for next year. This won't be a case of. This will be like Ohio State in 2025 after they won. And mind you, I've drawn a lot of parallels from Ohio State 2024 to Oregon 2026. I believe that Oregon should be the prohibitive favorite in people's minds. If you slapped Ohio State's logo on Oregon with everything that they have coming back and everything, they'd be like, oh my God, they're winning the national championship. But Oregon has never won a national championship. So people have that crumb of doubt in there. And Ohio State in 2025, they still ended up with dogs on the defensive line because those dudes played a lot the year before. So like, even though that they were first time quote unquote starters, they were playing a lot the year before and they were playing well. So that's the part that I love about Oregon's situation as well, is that it bodes well for the future.
And Tuioti mentioned about Johnson, who played 4 games redshirted, but then was able to get playing time in the 3 playoff games.
Yep.
So he played in 7 games, maybe not a ton of reps, but he played in 7 games, but he was able to redshirt, which is a nice little luxury. So yeah, that'll be interesting to see how that works out with him and Breland. Breland's a guy, he's a retro sophomore. So going into his 3rd year, he's going to be a backup, but if he doesn't transfer, he comes in next year, he blossoms into the exact same type of guy that Signetti was going out and trying to get, those older guys who have experience and are grown-ass men. All right. So you have gotten some insight on some key guys who have been showing out during spring. Let's go one by one. We'll start with the first one. Kendra Harrison, 6'7" tight end, going to be a true freshman. Has raw written all over him, but he also has written all over him the fact that he's an athletic freakazoid capable of playing D1 basketball. He was offered by North Carolina. He might try and play, or he's going to try and play basketball at Oregon as well, which means he has some certain level of dexterity and footwork to go along with that 6'7" frame. He's fast. He's athletic. Could he make an impact as at least a receiving tight end, backing up Jamari Johnson and Marcus Dixon this fall?
Kendra Harrison will play significantly in the fall. He is, from what's been shown so far, they said he's a man amongst boys, that he is physically a freak, and that that he has that like special is written all over him. And most importantly, he's not a receiving tight end. He's a tight end that they say he's a willing blocker and a competitive blocker. So,
but is he? But my question would be: is he ready to block at this level consistently as a freshman?
Yes,
okay.
they
that's a
do
different
believe
level.
that. Yeah, they believe that when the fall comes, that he will be ready to be out there game numero uno, blocking whatever they need him to block. Exciting. Love tight ends.
That's scary.
Hey, and if you think about it, Oregon's really tight end you. Like if you go back to even prior to me, now granted,
here we go. Go ahead. I'm gonna shop on eBay while you go through this, Tyra.
Just saying, bro. Like
just kidding.
everybody.
No, Oregon's had tons of tight ends, tons of NFL tight ends. Yeah.
Justin Peele, 10 years in the league. Wilcox, Blake Spence, Rosario,
Pharaoh
Dixon,
Brown,
Brown, who's still playing. Oh my God. Yes, Johnny Munt.
Paulson.
Yes, Paulson. That's what I'm
right
saying.
there. And who played with
Oregon?
Munt? Who played? It was because Munt and Pharaoh, and who was the other tight end that was on the same roster?
There was one other. Yeah, I can't remember his name. And they all played in the NFL. Bro, if you start at the NFL, if you start at the University of Oregon at tight end, you will get a shot in the NFL. And most of them stick. Like even Tim Day, who's a VP at Nike now.
Tim Day. He was in that's 10. We're at 10 in the last 25 years. Wait,
yes.
he did he ever play though? I know he got drafted. Yeah, he played a little bit. Injuries got him though, right?
Yeah. Yep. And now he's a VP at Nike. So
right. Yeah, he was good. I gotta find this other tight end. It's gonna drive me nuts. Because it was Munt, Pharaoh were all around the same time. And then there was Evan Bayless, fool.
Yes, Evan Bayless.
He played in the NFL. I can't remember how long. He didn't play as much as Munt, did he?
No, because Munt's still playing, I think.
Yeah.
And then you think about, you had a second round pick last year. You got a first round pick this year.
That's 11. That's 12. It could be 12.
May have a first round pick this up in 2027 draft.
Yeah, Munt played 3 seasons.
Johnson. Bro, that's a lot.
That's going to be 13 NFL tight ends in 26 years.
Yeah.
That's pretty wild. That's pretty wild. But of course, we all know the greatest amongst them was George Wrighster. All right. So Breland is going to be the next great Oregon tight end. That's exciting. Because here's the thing about this. Here's the thing about this. Because what I like hearing about this is because so many times, man, there's like this freak that comes along. It's like, oh my God. They just don't turn out to be as good as you think they might be. But if someone said 6'7", 260-pound tight end who runs like a receiver and can block like a true blocking tight end, you're thinking, oh my God, this is like a generational talent at the college level at tight end. But oftentimes they don't always work out that way, but you're making it sound like it's working out that way. So I'm excited to see how that plays out.
Yeah. They're very encouraged.
And then we got defensive line. Yeah. Go ahead.
Is Anthony Jones. So Tank Jones. I think he's impressive. I would not be surprised if he contributes in the fall in a good way. Okay. They're very intrigued also with Jet Washington, who is 6'5" or taller.
Another freak, right?
Yeah, but he's got a slender frame, so they don't think he's going to fill out enough to get to be a linebacker because he's well over 200 pounds now. But they said he can move. Hips are good. He can backpedal, which is great for a safety. That's like on some Bucky Jones energy. And then there's Tredarian Bell. I didn't even tell you this one, Aaron. The running back from Texas, the one that they flipped from Arizona.
Yeah.
They like him a lot. He's looking good so far. And the last guy that I would say that they're super, that has been mentioned multiple times by multiple people to me is, actually two more guys, excuse me, is Jalen Lott, who they think is going to be good, but Devon Benjamin is the number one guy. Like, he has been mentioned more than anybody else to me. The corner from Oaks Christian.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lot of good corners though. Is he going to find enough playing time this year, or is he just, hey, look out for 27 kind of guy?
You only got to find a little bit of playing time, because you don't have to be a starter as a freshman. But
they've got a lot of good corners though. They got a lot of guys who sat around last year waiting their turn.
Yeah,
and they brought in a kid.
Yeah. So, but if he ends up second string, like when they like one of the top 6 corners, that's a good job.
All right, let's go back. Go ahead.
Yeah, between playing nickel, because they play 5 DBs the majority of the time. So yeah, bro, you're in elite company if you're in the top 6 or 7. That means you're going to play.
All right, let's go back to Jet, because Jet's another one of these guys that falls into the category of, oh my God, that sounds unreal. It sounds like something you create on Madden, right? A 6'5" safety. Those usually aren't a thing a lot of times, because 6'5" athletes don't usually have the hips, the swivel.
Yeah, because they get too big.
Right. And sometimes the stride's nice for running people down, but if you have too long of a stride as a DB, that can hurt you in some ways sometimes, because you got to be quicker, shorter bursts. Yeah. You got to close in on things with quickness, not long stride. You long stride at somebody, they make a move on you. You got a long stride back the other way, so it just doesn't always work. Yes. But you're saying that his feet are that great that it's just not going to matter with him. That's what you're telling me.
I am saying that I think when I see 6'5" in the DB room, I'm like, I need to see it to believe it.
Right.
But they are encouraged by him. And now, mind you, I played against Lenny Williams when he was with the Broncos. And I remember he was 6'4" at corner. We were like, bro, what? 6'4"? There's no way. And then you watch him, you're like, oh, way.
Mel Blount was 6'3". Who's the best tall corner in NFL history? Mel Blount was 6'3", which is pretty tall.
Surtain is tall.
Surtain's 6'2", listed as 6'2". See, tallest,
which is big already.
Yeah, for corner, that's big. But I mean, tallest safety in NFL history. I'm like, has there ever been a 6'5"? Tim Baylor was 6'6", but that was back in the 70s, 80s. That don't count. Who? You said who?
Oh, Brandon Browner. And I didn't mean Lenny Williams. I meant Lenny Walls.
Okay. Brandon Browner was 6'4", playing corner.
Oh, Ike Taylor was 6'2".
Lenny Walls was 6'4".
Brandon Browner, Richard Sherman, 6'3".
Yes, but have we seen 6'5" in the NFL and at DB really?
Well, actually, all those were corners.
All those were corners. I'm talking about safety. Like, have we seen 6'5" at? Well, 6'5" at corner just seems insane. But if 6'4" can do it, maybe 6'5" can. But Browner also was just a ridiculously kind of a freakazoid, which this kid seems to be. But 6'5" safety, has that ever been a thing?
Eamon Wari for the Seahawks is over 6'3". So yeah, it's not typical, but yeah. Oh, Isaiah Simmons, Jaron Curse, JL Skinner, all those guys are 6'4". Kyle Hamilton is 6'4".
If he can move like if he can move like Finneman, right? To name a safety from recent Oregon history. If he can move like that, when you add in the stride, imagine him in cover 2.
Yes.
Right. Because in cover 2, you want to send multiple verticals and look one way and go to the sideline and go down the middle. He's going to have the range to really make that extremely difficult. Like, you're going to have to zip it in there. If there's any loft at all, he's going to be able to track that down with that length, the height, the stride. Like, it's just going to be kind of scary. It's where you got a scheme. But again, it's like, I got to see it because it's something that doesn't sound real because we've never really seen it work. Because usually there's something that someone that tall can't pull off physically to make it work. The last time
that Oregon had a crazy tall safety like that, it didn't work out the way that.
Just recently they lost someone, right?
Brian Addison.
Right, there you go. He moved to receiver, I thought, or did he?
Yeah, but then he moved back. I think when he went back to UCLA, I think he went back to safety.
Okay.
Yeah, he did go back to safety when he went to UCLA. So yeah, happens.
That's wild, dude. So we got a crazy athletic tall tight end and a crazy athletic tall safety. Woo! Let's see how it works out. All right, we got anything else? We gone long today, huh? Man, sometimes I'd be like, what are we going to talk about 15 minutes later? Hey, we just talk. All right. Hey, real quick. Dante Moore is talking tomorrow on Tuesday. So we'll hear from Dante for the first and only time this spring. And then we got the first scrimmage on Saturday, which are you going to be able to get a video copy of that? They let you watch that?
Hey, shh.
No? So maybe you can comment on it if I get some intel. Okay.
I'll get some information.
Okay. I appreciate that. All right. All right, that's it for this week's episode of the Ducks Confidential Podcast. We'll be back next week after the first scrimmage to talk more about this ever-evolving and potentially elite football team.